let's take a really harsh institution that we don't argue about, slavery. Okay, nobody thinks slavery was good, I presume. Nevertheless, everything that you just said could be said about slavery. I mean, if you took a look at the plantation economy, there were masters who were very decent people. They treated the slaves very nicely. In fact, they were treated better than free workers, much better. They were allowed to live their family lives, you know. I mean, they didn't beat them up or anything. But it didn't matter. It was slavery. And maybe some of them, you know, gave money to the church and did all kind of decent things. Probably they did, you know, nice people. But the trouble was the institution. The institution was wrong. It doesn't matter whether you do it nicely or not nicely. People, you know, the idea that a person should be owned is just an intolerable infringement on human rights, whether the person who owns them is nice to them or not. And, you know, in the 19th century, it was widely recognized that the same is true if people are rented. It's an intolerable infringement on people's rights, even if the guy who rents you is nice to you. Human beings are born to, he said, to inquire and create, and to create under their own initiative. If any work that a person does under outside pressure is inhuman. If a person creates something beautiful under outside orders, we may admire what he does, but we will despise what he is. Well, that's classical liberal thought, you know. They don't tell you that in the Chicago school. But that's classical any more than they tell you what Adam Smith really said, which is very different from what's claimed. But that's classical liberal thought, and it's because it was driven by, you know, concepts of human rights and human dignities which are seriously infringed by the structure of business operations, even if the guys who run it are nice guys. You can't be a nice guy in certain positions because the institution is not nice. I think it should not lead us to overlook what's fundamentally wrong with that authoritarian structure.